Welcome to Module 3 of Communication Studies 306, Communication Theory. This is our second module. This is the second module when we'll be discussing interpersonal communication theories. The first theory that we'll be discussing is related to relationship development, and that is social information processing theory. And this theory suggests that based solely on information available through online communication, people who meet online can develop relationships that are just as close as those that are developed in face-to-face interaction, though it takes longer through online interaction. Because online senders select, receivers magnify, channels promote, and feedback enhances favorable impressions, online communication can create what the theory calls hyperpersonal relationships. The second theory in this module is relational dialectics, and this theory suggests that interpersonal relationships are created through the interplay of discourses or tensions. These tensions occur within the relationship and outside of the relationship. They address the past and the future. Often discourses struggle with each other at the same time or at different times. Common discursive struggles include integration, separation, stability and change, and expression or non-expression. The next theory in this module is communication privacy management theory. This theory proposes that people believe they own and have a right to control their private information. They do so by using personal privacy rules. When others are given this information, they become co-owners of the information. If co-owners of the information don't effectively negotiate mutually agreeable privacy rules about telling third parties, boundary turbulence is likely the result. And then the last theory in this module is media multiplexity theory. And this theory proposes that relationships with strong ties use more media to communicate with each other than relationships with weak ties. Communication content differs by tie strength rather than by medium. Which media we use for which tie depends in part on group norms. So the tasks for this module include reading chapters 10 through 13 and reviewing lessons 3A and 3B within the module. So the assignments for Module 3 are to post the required contributions to the voice thread, complete the knowledge checks within lessons 3A and 3B, and remember you can repeat those as often as you'd like during the time of the module, and your highest score is recorded for your grade. Make your contributions to the wiki for this module, and remember this is collaborative with all the members of the class, so just make sure that you allow space and room for others to make contributions, and then submit application paper portion A. And so as you've seen in the syllabus, this paper is completed in two different parts, and this is the first part where you're primarily describing the theory that you've selected. So one of the main things you need to think about are the sources that you're going to be using, and I've given you some resources that you can use to find other sources to reference for this part of the paper. A really good source is the Encyclopedia of Communication Theory, and that's linked in Blackboard. And then another option would be to look in the chapter for your theory and look at the references that are listed and try to locate those references, because those could be used also to explain the theory. So I really would like you to avoid using the textbook to describe the theory as a reference to describe the theory, and have you look for other sources aside from the textbook to describe the theory. As always, if you have any questions, please get in touch with me.